Hey guys, welcome back. Today is Tuesday and the market is still looking really rough. Today is another no trade day for me. You'll see that in my day trading account, boom, 0 trades, but you will notice I have 2 sell orders up. So I want to talk a little bit about why I have that. But first, let's actually go back to the indexes and see what's going on with the overall markets. Yesterday, you can see we had a nice, really strong hammer candle. Basically, the market was in a free fall at the market open, and then after like lunchtime or so, we had a really good recovery into the close. And actually, if you zoom into this, you can see really the close was amazing. So right around noon was like our all-time low, and then we had a good recovery here, kind of an inverse head and shoulders, where you can see the classic shoulder, the head, shoulder again, and boom, that little rally to the upside. So classic inverse head and shoulders. And I was thinking, okay, well, this is pretty nice little hammer candle here, but I don't really feel like this sell-off is over, because you could really still feel the lack of buyers in the market, especially today. And I was looking at a lot of my swing trades. So I was thinking today is going to be maybe a little bit of a sell-off day, and that's what we're seeing so far. And I'm a little bit concerned that we're going to keep selling off a little bit like we had during the COVID crisis, where we had those hammer candles, but we kind of continued selling off. So that's and I think it might be even something like this, where we have a hammer candle and then make a new low. And you can see that pretty much across the board with the Dow Jones, the NASDAQ, very similar, obviously much stronger of a sell-off. The tech sectors got hit really hard, and the SPX very similar as well. So we're kind of seeing the same pattern across the board. And what I wanted to do is reduce some of my downside risk and also free up a little bit of capital if we continue getting a sell-off. I really like my swing trades, and I don't really want to be selling them, especially in these lows. But what I did was, into that really strong rally right before the market closed yesterday, I actually did end up cutting some of my losses. So let's just see how that looks. We'll dive into the 15-minute chart, and you can see here, space, for example, we had that really strong run. We were coming towards a really big resistance, which has always slammed the price down, and I cut my losses here. I basically cut half of my position on space, half of my position on QS. XL is very small size, only 200 shares. It was an alert entry here, and somewhere back here too, alert entry. So this one I wasn't so concerned about. I could easily get full size on this one and then be pretty much near the all-time low. So that's something I would be looking at on XL. CLOV, for example, is another ticker where I was slowly adding in my size. This was one of my last sizes, and I was waiting for this one to move a little bit higher towards this 180 SMA, but we didn't really get that pop. I think we might get another pop here, so I'm going to wait and hold off and look to sell half of my position on CLOV. And then LMND, another position that I sold half of my position on. I think OTLY, did I talk about OTLY? OTLY, another example where I sold half of my position as we were approaching that bigger resistance, as the market was having its reversal. Now, I do think we could maybe see another push up here, going a little bit higher, but I think overall the market's still in a very strong bearish trend. Even if this is the all-time low, even if we're not going any lower, I'm totally fine with buying back, especially because there's a good chance that if we do get a reversal, it's not going to be super instant. A lot of times you see, a big spike up like this, and then a low get tested again. Sometimes you even have like a triple bottom before we really start reversing back up. Or it could be a big V-shaped bounce where we just, go all the way up, but then we'll probably have a nice retest at some point. So for now, I'm basically reducing some of my risk and giving myself the option to buy more shares at a lower price, or the same amount of shares at a lower price. So if, let's say, OTLY and all these other tickers like LMND, CLOV, QS, XL, if they start coming back down to the previous lows, let's say around 14 or so, I could either start buying there and I just save 10%. Basically by doing nothing. Remember, this is a lot of times in my Roth IRA account, so it's totally fine actively managing the account a little bit more, although it's not really my favorite thing to do on swing trading. I just want to give you guys an update what I am doing. But if we do break this low here of 14, I would really be able to accumulate a little bit more. So I'm kind of giving it a little bit more time. I don't want to rush right back into a buy. Although, if I get a re-entry and save 5 to 10%, I think that'd be a huge win. I don't want to trip over myself too much. I think that would already be great. I did that with Coin when it had its big sell-off, and it worked phenomenally. So let's just see how it ties up. I just want to give a little bit of a heads up what I'm looking to do, because overall that, the market sell-off was really, really strong. I'm not really sure if this was the bottom yet. Yes, we got a hammer candle, but today you can see it's really an engulfing candle. We're not getting that, instant continuation. So I don't know. I think taking some profits or cutting some losses, depending if you entered yesterday or if you've kind of been holding and you got caught into the sell-off like I did, it might be a good time to kind of rebalance your portfolio a little bit. Think, how do I want to go forward? And if we do get a big sell-off, will I have cash available to buy the dip or accumulate at lower prices? And that's what I feel like is the big advantage of doing this. Yes, obviously, if we get a big reversal right now, I would miss out on that, and I would have readjusted my portfolio at maybe not the best time, which is totally possible. I think, we could get a big retest of like this 180-day SMA. It's totally not unlikely. Maybe we're going to get a few days where we move up like this, but I want to give it a little bit of time. And I thought yesterday on that big spike was a good time to take profits. We'll see how the next few days play out. You guys know from yesterday's recap video and even Friday's recap video, I'm a little bit more hands off right now with the market. I kind of want to see how it plays out. Small caps for me personally, day trading right now has been very difficult, so I'm letting that simmer as well. And I'm really focusing on my taxes this week and onboarding our new interns that we have working for us on Trade Journal. So there's a lot going on my side, and there's a lot going on the macro side. So this is a really good time for me to be a little bit more hands off, see if I can readjust my portfolio a little bit to take advantage of any more selling off. And if we don't have any more selling off, great, that's also good. There's tons of good opportunity, and I would be happy to get back into the market with a bit more of a full portfolio again. But yeah, other than that, I mean, there's not much more to talk about. No trade day again for me in terms of small caps and day trading. Let's see if I do some trading tomorrow. I honestly hope so. I would like to do some trading, at least a little bit. I'm kind of doing half days right now where I'm waking up a little bit later, so I have a little bit more energy for it later in the day because of all the work I have to do at the moment. But if I could do a little bit of good trading at the market open or before the market open, we get a nice front side or something like that, I would be all for that. Really quickly, I could show you some of the lead gappers. Let's see, we had 8 p.m. Look at this. It was just disaster across the board. This one had that 4 a.m. spike, which you can't really trade, especially on TOS, and then it's just been selling off all day. We had CKPT, another ticker that, tried to move around 8 o'clock. We had like this really awkward little mini front side ranging setup here, and then it's just been chop fest. And, it's so easy to give back profits on tickers like this. And, this is exactly the kind of tickers I've been giving back profits on. SRRA, another ticker that just really confusing looking. We had this quick pop around 7:30 and then just sold off for an hour, found a bottom, and then tried to break VWAP again, which didn't really work. This one breakout here, flushed back down. And then these are literally the setups where I was losing, 5-10% in trades the last week and the week before that, because we're just not getting that resolution. We're not getting that breakout, pull back, and then a trend back to the upside and more breakout. So it's not the ideal market for being a small cap day trader right now. So again, that's why I'm totally fine with not trading. It's not something I do a lot, and it feels a little bit weird. It really feels like I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing, but these are times where it's just better to be afloat, get some cash together, make sure you're able to buy if we keep getting a bigger sell-off, and other than that, make sure you don't have any margin that forces you out of any positions. Low risk portfolio is definitely the way to go at the moment. I mean, we even had a top gainer called Hope today, so I don't really know what else I should say. Not to mention, look at this weasel little front side here, or a retest of former highs. It's only like a 7% move, which is really not worth to be trading. All right, guys, that's all I wanted to share today. I'll see you then first thing tomorrow morning for the next day trading recap. Drop any questions you have below. Remember, you can check out all my portfolios at tradejournal.co/Winkler. I'll drop a link here, and it's right below the video as well. Don't forget to drop a like on the way out. Consider subscribing if you're new, and like always, stay safe and make some awesome trades. Ciao, ciao.